I'm reporting like hello, everyone. It is your girl, Ria Sia, your woman of controversial engagement. Guess what? It is a beautiful day. Mind you, a year of note. So I like to say compliments to you. Happy 2025. And we are starting in a bang, you know how it is in January. If you are in the art industry and you are an actress and you know that, hey, you want to be known, you want to be a presenter, you want to be out there, it is that time that you need to do your headshots, that you need to start finding an agent and things like that. So let me tell you, today we are party inside in the industry itself, in the film industry, with Zoltar Miya himself. That is, he is a director and a producer. He is the company director for Time Films. So it is a good day to start talking about how it looks like in this film industry. And Zoltar, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
It's good to have you.
It's also good.
Yeah, and he's not going by himself, You know when you are a film director, me, I know people, me, I've got my own cast, me. So today he is with Tebogo Sefora. We know Tebogo Sefora as well. He is a well-known DJ, versatile DJ of note, and he is an actor as well. I think we've seen him in different telenovelas or series. I don't know what we call them, because in my days we used to call them soapies. So maybe he will explain to us what are they called now. But you've seen him go champion. You've seen him in the latest offering at on House of Zwide. Welcome, Tebogo.
Thank you very much for having me.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Gents.
Kipodika high today.
Oh, okay. Again. Only DJ.
Man of many talents. Today, the block.
Today, if you were in the DJ space, when I'm charity bag.
Yeah, definitely.
The turntable. Guys, I'm that old. The turntable, not the USB. I got it right. Turntable bag. So today it's very table. Yeah, Zoltar, I know we are here because we're going to be talking about this beautiful project. We know that you've done so many projects, and I'd like you to tell us about the projects that you've been doing before we talk about the latest offering that you have. What have you been doing in this film industry?
I started, I started like 4 years back, shooting a soccer tournament for free. I always say that. They used to buy me kotanya, right, and then go home. But I wanted to do that because I just wanted to understand the longevity of shooting a soccer tournament. And the more I started shooting, the more I started getting good, because I was using a DSLR camera and I'd zoom in to see the goalkeeper,
Wow.
And the challenges are the more you zoom in, the stability of the camera starts shaking, So it was interesting because when I shot the soccer tournament, I started getting people coming to watch the soccer tournament. So the stadium was now full because I would upload the footage and people would come, And I started shooting a nice spec ad with this guy from television who did the McDonald's ad. I forgot his name. Then it wasn't successful because of the quality of the video itself, So we had to cancel that. And then I went to Parkhof Theatre to shoot a theatre show, tap show, under Parkhof. It was funded by the government. That was also successful for Rooted Tappers. I think that was the trademark of where everything started.
Wow, that's a journey, guys. I understand where he's coming from, okay? Because so when the phone is already pixelated, I say la zoom fela. So I don't know so I understand where he comes from, but that's been a journey for you.
Yeah, it's been because this guy found me on that soccer tournament that I was shooting for free.
Yeah.
And he called me up and he said, would you mind coming to us in Bloemfontein? And that's where the story started. But after coming back, I had this vision of shooting a series,
Yeah.
But it never started there. It was behind the mind of a criminal.
Yeah.
And I just took a couple of my friends. We went to a train station and we started shooting,
Wow.
And it wasn't scripted, how ironic. And when I went home, edited it was nice,
Yeah.
And I woke up at 2 o'clock. I started writing the script, and one thing led to another. 6 o'clock, I had 9 years behind bars.
What?
Yeah, it's a crazy journey.
Talking about having a vision, I mean, really, that is very awesome for us to hear. And today, guys, we are diving into the process of the film that you're doing or the series. You still need to find a word for it because it's still in the baby stage. That is 9 yards behind bars. And guys, trust me, okay? Wink, wink. I'm biased to this one. Wink, wink. You'll know why. And and I know that today you've brought Tebogo to tell us what is his involvement. Before you take us through your journey of you being
like we're gonna be here all day.
Briefly.
There's really no summary to the story, man. It's just it's a beautiful come up story. When you have dreams and you come from this small village where everything that you see on TV seems almost impossible to achieve. Getting here, I remember there was a friend that I met and he was like, hey man, extra, there's the extra go scandal, whatever, you want to do that. I'm like, oh, hey, I always wanted to do that. So at that time, that's all you're exposed to. So it's almost like the pinnacle. You're like, TV.
Of course.
That was the most important thing. The most important thing was my cousin would see me on TV now. But what's it? So I started doing that. But then when you get in, as the background, obviously, I'm going there with the mindset of I'm here to learn. I'm here to see how this whole thing works. Now I get there, and I'm like, hey, acting almost easy. Because you know how always you like, man, let script, line, give me some lines. And then you see them doing these things and you see them also like, stressful, panicking, nervous. You see them fluffing and you're like, oh, you the most easy today. Because not only is what's put on the paper, it's also the emotion that comes into the paper as well. There's a whole lot that goes with the script. We'll get to that later. So while I was doing that, I was like, nah, I need to study for this thing. I need to go to school for this thing, But now, chankura, I hate things. So I obviously now, even when, I think the messed up thing as well is you go back home and you're like, hey, I found this new interest, I love this, I want to do this. But because of they have the same mindset, you go to and go thing, man, this is not going to work. They're
it's like, a hobby.
Yeah, but TV, especially because there's nobody in the family that has done that before. You're like, man, this is a pipe dream. You can't do it. Why don't you do this? It's just how. I'm like, okay, sharp. So I had to let it go for a while and go and study insurance in Bloemfontein. And that's how I landed a job in a certain bank. I worked there for like 5 years. But now in that 5 years, when a calling calls you, in that 5 years, I'm like, nah. I'm not happy. So I took some of the money that I was earning, took myself to Oxford College and I started television presenting, radio presenting. I've been doing some workshops on the side as well with regards to performance, acting, I appointed a coach as well, like an acting coach, I was like, I want this thing, And then after that, I submitted, I did a profile, I submitted my profile, because in between that I would get some odd gigs here and there to come and, one line in
is that something?
Delivery for Exactly. So I would do that, and obviously that comes with the experience, which I'm grateful for, because then I got exposed into the, I wasn't thrown into deep end like that. I was gradually coming up, and I could see it. I prayed for this, Okay, so at some point, I think in 2021, I just like, because there would be times where I need to go to an audition, and I can't, because man, you go spanning 9 to 5. when you speak to your boss, you're like, can I just, I'll come back.
In and out.
There'll be times where it's like, vaya Ntwana, good luck. But then now you get an audition 3 times in a row, it's like, I thought, it's come up with excuses like, you're short-staffed, whatever. So now you're missing auditions you could potentially get because you're always at work.
Yeah.
Now I'm sitting there, I had to make the toughest decisions of my life because I have a son as well that I'm paying for school fees and whatever, and I'm like, I'm gonna leave.
Yo.
I was like, I'm gonna leave. I remember calling my mom and I'm like, hey man, I wanna leave. I wanna quit. And she's like, do you have a plan? I was like, yeah. It's like, I don't know. Yeah. And she's like, okay, I trust you. If you wanna leave, then leave.
Yeah.
I remember drafting that letter earlier, I'm back. Thank you very much, guys, for the experience. Kind regards. My manager called me to the office. It's like, hey man, what are you going through? Do you need maybe need some leave? Because we can give you 3 months your leave and whatever just to sort yourself out. Is there anything wrong? And I'm like, there's nothing wrong. I'm kavaya.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know.
On my way.
I just need to be available for these auditions, which is a bold, and at the time I felt so courageous doing it.
Yeah.
And then after leaving there, I was like, okay, I need something to keep me busy. So I had a car. I registered my car on Bolt. I got marked. That didn't go on for too long. I got marked. I got marked, and I was like, I was like, I have a lot to do. I can't die here. So now I left that, and I was like, okay, I need to keep the money coming in almost every weekend. So I need to, because I always loved music. I had this virtual DJ, whatever. I was like, I need to learn how to. That's how that
typical guy.
And that's how that came about. That's how the DJing came about as well. Because I was like, Yasin, let me learn how to play, so that at least if you get some gigs over the weekends,
it works.
You're able to like some skaftiniana for boy, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So I found a school, DJ Mix Club in Randburg. I enrolled there.
Yeah.
2 times a week you go there and then they teach you from scratch. This button is for this. This is how you plug it in. I learned that for over 3 months.
Yeah.
And then I started getting gigs in Yana, but they take advantage of you if you don't know you, like which is sad. We can laugh about it now. No, he did say if they don't know you, they'll play with you. Like they are not budget all the time, but you there, my police's there, How do you have 350 at this guy, but not totally banyana for me? But it makes sense because
okay, sorry, but yeah. So
but what I want this stringana, so ila 100 rand. Why the judge la magadi pula mlomo. Bofa pula mlomo. Exactly, So I'm like, it makes sense because who would leave their house to come and see you? Nobody knows you, and then I just kept at it. I remember not working for like 2 years, which is the hardest times of my life. I wasn't booking, nothing was coming out, like nothing at all. And the big guys that would come to me on some, hey man, babatlaba to go kai, it's a CV how, and I'm like, that's not the job I want.
Yeah.
I'm starving, but I can't. I'm like, no, man, I can't leave that job to come to that. Like, it doesn't make sense. If anything, I must get a job within the environment.
Yes.
God came through for me. God was like, hey, there's internships, there's certain production on SABC One. They're looking for they're looking for interns and whatever.
Wow.
I went there, spoke to the producer on some, hey, I hear you looking for this and that. Can you maybe organize this for me? Yeah, and he's like, okay, yeah, sure, you can come through. I was like, yes. So now I'm there for 3 months doing art department, white mosque, the background, set dressing, standby, props.
Yes.
So I did that. So yeah, I did that. I did set standby and prop standby as well there for like 3 months. And then the most beautiful thing happened.
Yeah.
I was working with Lunga Shabalala at the time, because he was a main there as well.
Yeah.
We were not even that close, just because you see somebody every day and you like work together, you're
ethic.
familiar with them exactly,
Yeah.
And I've acted with him before on the same show that he was in. Like I did a brief thing there, so he remembers me for my acting as well.
Yeah.
So I remember we had like a closing party, a end of year function thingy, because we were closing off the season. And I met him and he's like, hey man, are you still acting? And I'm like, shh.
Dude,
Come
how
on.
could you ask?
How you act every day, man, you know?
I'm even acting now.
It's like, hey man, they're looking for this character, Coco Champions, you know, and I think you would really be beautiful for that. Here's the number of the casting director. Call him, tell him that you got the number from me. Ask him to put you in the room just to audition, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank you. I was like, I'm gonna contact this person tomorrow, you know? Like it was a Saturday, I remember. On the Monday, I contacted this guy and I'm like, hey, my name is Tebogo Sefora. I got your number from Mulunga Shabalala, you know, and he said you're looking for a character that's Tswana speaking and I believe that I can, you know, just give me the opportunity to come through. Just put me in the room, you know, just see what, like, let me give you something. Let me show you something, you know. And the guy was like, oh man, you know, you're in luck. We're actually looking for somebody like that. And then he sent me the scripts, he gave me the address, and then the next day I went to the audition. You know, when you walk in, like, you already got it. You know, I was like, God, thank you. This is it.
This is it.
Yeah, like I went in there like, they're looking for me. I was like, these guys are looking for me, you know. Went in there, did the audition. Next day they called me on some, hey man, you got the, I'm so blessed, man.
I cried on your behalf.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, yo. In the same way we're so used to doing things for free, I was like, I don't care if they pay me. I was like, finally, you know, finally. Yeah, so that's the come up story, man. Yeah.
Wow.
So after that, there was House of Zwide as well, you know, and like when they start seeing you and seeing what you can do, it opens some doors as well. So it's very important to put yourself in the spotlight like that.
Yeah. And Zoltar, you got a star apparently because tell us how you feature Tebogo in 9 yards behind bars.
Story is
crazy story.
I think it was meant to be, you know, because one thing I liked about Tebogo, beside me knowing him personally, he was like me, you know. I always saw myself. He was someone who wanted to see himself in a space and an opportunity.
Yeah.
And despite how much, whether there's money or not, he just wanted to see himself in a form of art, you know.
Wow.
So when we started talking, I lost this character who had to play his role, you know, and he started giving us problems with Maureen. So he just reached out, and it's someone who I contacted, and he was like, hey, I'm game. Give me the script. He started reading the script, and then on the following
This is the day before, mind you.
They're
shooting tomorrow. He's giving me the script at 8 p.m. on something. Hey man, this guy is giving us problems. Do you mind playing this character?
Come through.
And I'm like, let there, you know, and beside him also being an actor, you know, he also helped me out on the other aspects of other things,
production as well.
And he started becoming a friend to me, you know. It's crazy how things happen, you know. That's why I'm saying he wouldn't be where he was. I think it's the attitude and the mindset, you know. It's the money after. That's what I've always told a lot of people. If you love something, I never cared whether they gave me a quota. I just wanted to go home and edit this thing.
Yeah,
you know?
Just showcase what you can do.
The footage. I was lacking footage. I always told myself if I'd have footage on this computer, I'd sit in the house for days. So I started stocking up in food and I sat in the house. I started editing. I'd find myself, it's a week now I've been editing, and even my mom would worry because I wasn't sleeping. I'll sometimes sleep holding a mouse. You know? So it's because I love editing. And I started watching.
I think we'll give him this one to edit himself.
No. So the whole point is when you're passionate about anything, the rest just follows, you know?
Yeah. Take us through the journey of 9 yards behind bars, because you're talking about, you know, you started filming by the train stations and things like that. Tell us, you know, more about the process of it from the time that you started going out and shooting.
So basically, there's a story that people are still asking me till date. My mom was a hardworking person. He sent me to ASC, Academy of Sound Engineering, at SABC. So I met my sister from my grandfather's side, which is Tebogo Miya, you know. Me meeting her, I went to see her for the first time in the cafeteria there at SABC, which is now downstairs. So we sat there and she started saying, I'll help you out. But now it became a problem because we are Miyas and it's a contradiction. She even told me that now it's a problem for me to help me because they know that we are related. So I started having to now figure a way to actually make this on my own, you know. And they were actually now starting to close things for her because she was actually helping me out. So I never finished my course in ASC because of the funds. Obviously, I got I can't say scholarship, a bursary.
Yeah.
And then I studied for 2 years, bachelor.
Yeah.
But after studying it, I started seeing this sound thing is not mine, you know. I want to be in the film space, you know. So I started meeting people there inside.
Yeah.
But I started working for free as a student because on Saturday I wasn't doing anything. So I got to know more about film there. But now when I left school, I couldn't get hold of those people that I was accessing at school.
Okay.
So I now had to do this thing from scratch, you know, find a camera, a crappy camera. And I'm telling you, it's expensive.
Yeah.
So there's a friend of mine who borrowed me a camera, and then I used the DSLR camera to start shooting anything, you know.
Yeah.
Then I took a couple of my friends, Sakibedi Stimela Mangobe, mind you. I'm sorry. I was Zoltar. You know? I wanted something so bad, you know.
Yeah.
So I had a security guard at the train station who would allow us to come in for free, you know. So we started taking the train, taking videos, but we weren't allowed to take videos in the train station because you book for those things.
Yes.
So I had to hide the camera, you know.
And you're like, I want this footage.
Exactly, you know? So now we had a problem after shooting this. I couldn't go back home, you know, because I've got 10 guys and my budget was over, you know.
Yeah.
So I called my mom. Luckily, she wasn't Brie and she came and she bailed us out. This is very funny, you know. So I'm just trying to elaborate that that's where the passion started. And one thing led to another, and I met a lot of good people, and right now I'm here, you know. So it's a long journey.
Yeah. I think for me, okay, because I've seen Zoltar several times now, you know, when we meet on set.
Yeah.
I think it's the passion that is the pure passion because it is your project. You know, there are challenges obviously that happens there. Like what goes into your mind on the day where you need to shoot a particular scene or a particular episode for 9 Yard?
So I watch a lot of old movies,
1960
movies. I was watching Hamlet. Shakespeare. So I like watching these movies because it's how they shot and the story. So the more I started watching, subconsciously, it translates also in your work. So you must start being careful of what you consume because it starts affecting who you are, you know?
Yeah, true.
So I watch a lot of old movies, dialogue. I read a lot of books. So when I shoot something, there's a reason. There's a scene there in 9 Yards where the detective is being drawn apart from his wife when he dies. It comes from Shakespeare's scene called Souls Apart, you know. So I take a lot of these things and I incorporate them on the movie aspect, and it becomes the intelligence in it. That's why it becomes a masterpiece because it's taken from somewhere, you know. So that's the process of 9 Yards, you know.
Wow. I think with what Zoltar is saying, Tebogo, I mean, he's talking about we need to be careful what we consume and what we watch, you know. I get, because I'm also in the acting space. A lot of my friends, they'll be like, have you watched this? I'm like, no, I haven't. Have you seen this place? I'm like, no, I haven't. And they're like, really, you don't like TV? And I'm like, not that I don't like TV. Most of the time, probably I'm busy with something. But at the same time, I like to protect my craft because I don't want to go on an audition and then they're like, you are like this character. Then they might as well go and call that person and say, please do pull through because we have someone that is similar. What happens to you or what goes on with you when you have to prepare for a character or how you protect your craft?
I think it's very important what Zoltar said because we're witnessing so many things with regards to what we consume in music and in what we watch as well. The series is channeling what we be said like you know, like there's so many weird things there and unnecessary things, you know, and people spend so much time on that. Our moms included, you know, that's how they spend their time. But now when I get a character, even when I play a character, I leave Tebogo at home. You know, I leave Tebogo at home. I would look at that. There's a reason why they give you a bio or a brief, like a character background. They tell you where this person has been, where they come from, because where you come from kind of shapes who you are today. So for you to fully embed yourself in that character, you need to know exactly what they went through and where they come from, the relationship they have with their mom, you know, how they carry themselves. Once you have that, because Tebogo had thing, you take that person, So they will speak like you, obviously, like, you know, sometimes you don't even speak like you. That depends on what pick attention. Quite depend exactly if the person speaks like that. You know, you cannot be speaking like that the whole time. That's how the person speaks. But that means Tebogo somewhere at home. Because even now, it's very challenging. You know, I've said this to my colleagues as well to say, I've seen so many gay guys acting straight and they're doing so well. And it's very, very controversial and not so easy, you know. Not to say the other one is easy, but it's not easy for a straight guy to now come back and act gay. Which is the character that I'm playing now. Go House of Zwide. The character I'm playing now, Tato, is a gay character. I'm going to watch it. You should start watching it. Everybody should start watching it. You all should start watching it as well. It's very, 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 very challenging. But every single day, whenever I leave home, I'm like, you know, exactly. You know, there's a potential relationship in the pipeline, and that's obviously like so challenging, you know. But that's what I do, man. I leave this guy and I appara this one, and that's how
No, it's true. It's like we play different characters to different people. That's what Shakespeare says. You know, life is full of entrances and exits. You know, life is a stage. You know, so. One thing I love about Tebogo, he's very sensitive to anything, you know, even music. Even he's a spiritual person, he likes meditating. So it's someone, it was easy for me to gravitate towards him because we share the same principles.
Oh, you know? That's so good. I think that's the awesome thing when you are a director. I mean, I was speaking to Tabora Miti. He was talking about a certain clip. So we just dived into a certain clip that he said that you need to have a good team, a team that understands you, a team that understands your flow, because sometimes it's difficult.
It is.
You know?
Yeah, sometimes really.
Especially in South Africa. I mean, the film industry and the acting industry is not really registered. You cannot report, you know, it to CCMA.
No, you can't.
Yet, you know, you know, and the funds as well are not accessible as we would like for them to be. What do you look for when you start a project like 9 Yard Behind Bars? Because it's a starting project. It doesn't have funds, doesn't have any injection. What kind of a team are you looking for or you're working with?
So basically, when I started to go back, there was a company that I started, Time Still, for women, right?
Yeah.
So I started noticing that I had to fund everything. Whether the girls are coming, whether they're going, whether there's food, everything I had to fund it, because my friend used to say, you do not wait for funding. Funding comes to you, you know. So the sad part about South African industries, people wait for funding, like a handout. I don't want any handouts, you know. So in every cash injection, it came from me. Whether I got 20,000, I spend it on 9 yards. Whether I got 100,000 on 9 yards, because that's my investment.
That's your baby,
you know. And the aim is my intellectual property. I've always said I'm aiming for international. And when you aim high, you always fall in the right space, you know. Because that's what I did with 9 Yards. I never even consumed anything South African. I wasn't even watching what's latest, what's trending. I started watching a lot of international content, and I saw when I started shooting it started gravitating towards that with the sound, though, right? So what helps a lot is what I want to tell a lot of film directors is, you can't wait for anything. When the vision is yours, you start pushing, and God gives you the right team at the right time. You know, everything is not controlled. It's like a process where you just walk in the valley of light, you know? So, and
it makes so much sense because when we started 9 Yards, I think there was a lot of us. There was a lot of us. I think Boma 60 or 50, you know? Now, especially with what he said initially, or people like, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that, because clearly we need to eat. The economy now, you know, we need to eat. Mara, sometimes be a dream, you know, because everything else will come after that. Everything else will come after your participation, dedication, and your and
it's crazy what he says. Most of these guys that left, some call me back now because they've seen the visuals.
Obviously.
It's crazy, you know. So they see, you know, now they see which, wow, this was the vision, you know. This is amazing. You know?
There's only one actor
Mirrors. What's this? Mirrors. What's
Smokes and Mirrors.
Smokes and Mirrors.
Yes,
Who
yes.
had to play character Tutu, no?
Yeah.
She was very honest with me. She even told me, I want to do this, but I can't do this because I'm in a contract now. But I like what you're doing, you know. It's something different, and I wish I would jump, you know. So you get honest people would confess, and like Kubab Tumsana, he couldn't make it today, but he's been very supportive also in this because he'd like say, boy, how can I help you? What do you need from me? I mean, I'm talking about Tumsani here, you know, because he sees the vision and he sees how I started, and he always used to say, I like where you're going and the passion, you know, despite the challenges, we are forced them, you know.
Which is what's required.
You know,
it is that.
we even got equipment, and I used to ask people to come help me out when I'm shooting. They charge me a ridiculous amount because they know I need to shoot, and they sometimes hold the footage because in ransom.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
It's crazy, and God answered, and I applied GFC. And we got the funding for equipment, which is going to be handed out in Feb. I mean, everything that I needed, God is providing. So this year, I have a good feeling that we are going to hit the sack. Because God is with us.
Of course. I think for me, I resonate with you because I think I know what it is and how it looks like to start something, to start a project, to believe in a project, to believe in the process of the project. I mean, I started my own podcast while waiting, like the W.O.C.E has been doing, waiting for that character, that breakthrough.
That one breakthrough,
you know, it takes time, and I've learned as well. I think we shared just off camera that I've learned that it's about the message. It's about the message. And I've seen, and I always say to people, a lot of people are like, Aria, why don't you have a lot of subscribers? Your content is good. I'm like, guys, I can wake up in the morning and I can buy subscribers. Do you know how many people send me emails and emails to just say, we've got 10,000 subscribers for you. Come, sign this, we will give you, you know? And for me, it's like, it's not it's not authentic, you know? I need to grow it. And one thing that I've seen as well with you is a God-given thing, guys, is not rushed.
Takes time.
No, you know,
and when you do get it, that's when you understand why it took that long.
You know, I went to Tebogo for a gig in, where was it? Zerast. I noticed something.
December.
You know, when you have fans that you never bought, you can tell, you know. He's talking about being a bodyguard. When he's DJing, I'm the bodyguard, mind you, right? I'm telling you, it's a true story. I'm standing next to him. I even said I'll take these prop guns and put it next to me and be like, chifta. You know? Because he doesn't like he doesn't like people taking pictures of him. That's one thing.
Not that I don't like it. I appreciate that so much. Don't get the wedding wrong. I love it, you know. The thing is, sometimes you have somewhere to be, you know, and I can't necessarily say, let's take a group picture. If there's 10 people waiting to take a picture with you, maybe Trinyana will get it, but you still need to get to where you're going. So there's a polite way of saying, hey guys, I love you, but I gotta go. You know, whoever got the picture, lucky for them.
But you can't.
But if the thing is, I can't. I can't.
Spend an hour saying, Tebogo, let's go. Okay, last picture. Tebogo, in our
That's how I'm like, next. Next.
But what I'm trying to say, like, fans love him because these are genuine
They're
fans,
authentic,
you know? So with 9 Yards, I don't care. Even if I always say to my mom, even if it takes me a decade, I'm literally serious, you know? I don't care, you know? Because I'm looking at Yizo, for instance. My nephew, right? He was watching Gomorrah. And he's like, yo, uncle, I love Gomorrah, you know? He's so spoiled, by the way. So he doesn't understand Gomorrah in the language. So I'm like, let me show you something. I was like, going to YouTube, let's go to Yizo. The first one when it started. Even the segments, you know, that's how they all take from there, you know. And it was genuine. And Papa Action there has a gun, you know, and it's real. And, you know, he slept at 6 o'clock. And when I wake him up, he's like, woke him up, he was like, uncle, I was watching Yizo. Wow. And he's still watching it now. And I'm saying, what happened to Gomorrah? I'm sorry, not comparing, right? And he was like, no, uncle, like Yizo is real. Because people there, mostly some still have that condition of a drug abuse because they were acting that role, you know. So they had to be an addict. So some are even struggling
to
come out of that character.
Yeah.
Because they started enacting it to a point where you started believing it, you know.
Yeah.
Like when you look at Cosmo, he was Papa Action there.
Yeah.
You know? Imagine, you know. So I'm guessing a lot of directors are giving these actors wrong roles, you know. That's why they're struggling to get gigs, you know. How would you make this guy a household person while Nizo was a gangster, you know? So you need to know the character and know how to take that character out, you know. Yeah.
But I think I get that. It's not most actors are versatile. Most, if not all.
Yes.
You know, you'll find somebody's a gangster on this show and a priest on that show.
Yeah.
You know, it comes with the training that you get as well to be clay.
Yeah.
To be clay.
Do you think? I think for me, it's not with the issue. The concern is not with the actors.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah,
Definitely
I
not.
doubt it in South Africa. I mean, for me in South Africa when I watch it, because you know when you compare with overseas, you can see that the different actors acting different roles.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm saying.
whatever, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I think we as South African consumers as well, we are still fixated as if I know Tebogo from Champion Kimbatla Ali Roughneck and then Kitola Tebogo go House of Zwide Sally Gay. There is that difficulty, and that's why we still have both Silo Magekangube, that people still want him to be Archie, you know. So I think it's how we consume as consumers, and that's why you find that there is that recycling of actors within our space, because the consumers
which is also very sad.
Denied to consume.
But you can't blame them. Look at how scripts were written back then. Like I was reading the scripts here, first and foremost. Some of the scenes were just shot without scripted, you know. They were just shot naturally and good, you know.
Yeah.
So now it's telenovelas. Everything is scripted, proper, timed, you know. There's no emotion there. It's just business, you know, a transaction, you know. So with 9 Yards, most of some scenes unscripted. I'm telling you the truth. When I shoot them, I get away from the script and I try to make it real as possible. Because a camera never lies. A camera is like an eye, you know. So when a viewer sees something and it's genuine, that's why you find Karabo that hits him Bamshang and Pamemol, because the character was so convincing, you know. So why can't we get such things anymore? Because the script is exchanged and it's recycled and we keep seeing the same thing but in a different name, you know. So for me, it's kind of hard for me to watch television, because when I see a new series out there, it's sort of like something I've watched before. There's nothing new, you know. So that's why people start stealing content. But one thing I like, when you go back, you know, and you still from 1980s, you start bringing something new to life. But when I still from House of Zwide, there's nothing new there, because someone already has a concept there, and I can't take that concept from him. And you can tell that this was taken from House of Zwide, because it's a fan, you know.
Do you think, that's how I get it, I think there is a level of consumption as well, because remember, we also are struggling with funds, we also are struggling with securing certain deals and things like that, right? So everybody wants to get money, and now things are being booked. If you want to shoot before notibo rakos kolong ko tlasing so kimshasha ile principal ko kai you know, but now the set that you know you probably need to hire, the set that you need to build, you know, it has already, you know, like also evolved, if I can put it like that, right? So with the industry evolving, consumers as well, they're still stuck in terms of, I want to watch something that is quick and moving. And
it's not only
like
consumers.
Yeah, this is why most people can sit through a whole season, a series.
Yeah.
But a movie, halfway through the movie, you're sleeping, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can finish 12 or 20 episodes of a series in one day. You will sit like that.
No, I think Ubab Tumsane said this. I'm sorry. He has a challenge with him. Remember age, right?
Yeah.
So I'm talking about the podcast yesterday, him coming. So he's like, I'll come for you, boy, but I don't do these podcasts. Everyone podcast.
Yeah.
Seems like this woman that's being abused by everyone. And we start laughing, you know. But for him, he's having a challenge because he's been in the industry for so long, but he doesn't understand these podcast things, because now they do not have meaning. Everyone can do a podcast, take a phone and interview Maporisa with the phone just standing next to a shop.
It's not authentic.
Exactly. And you can see with the person that's being interviewed that she's also not being authentic because the vibration is actually speaking.
We want subscribers. We want popularity.
Exactly.
And the more there is that consumption of popularity, the more we lose authenticity, in everything that we do.
If you post something negative, you get 100 views.
Yeah.
But if you post something good, I always tell my friend, when you get one like in anything you're doing, that means you're doing a good job.
Everybody's moving the same way now. It's like everyone wants to be a comedian, everyone wants to be funny. Because that's what the masses, as you're saying, that's what people respond to. That's what they want to consume. Because you know what I mean. Like if you go on TikTok,
now.
And you scroll, content that thing,
everyone.
It's always somebody trying to make a fool out of themselves, maybe dancing, there.
And they're making a money out of it. You get people who are famous for ridiculous things, but it depends on how you want to get out in this industry. Because you quickly get out too.
You quickly get in and you quickly get out.
So we're just here to stay. That's why I don't care if it takes me so long. I'm just here to stay for the right reasons, mind you.
And to tell the story that is 99 behind bars. I think for me it's when I mean we share this conversation with you because of all the events that we'll attend because we're in the industry and we'll be called to come and watch short films and we'll check what the people have done, and I spoke to you over the phone. I was like, Zoltar, whatever you do, hold on to it. Hold on to it. Because it is gold. I've seen people, they're just doing what they want to do because
it's done.
There we go.
Like, for instance, you are also in 9 Years, right?
Yeah.
And you're acting as detective there. But the reason why we gave you a role as a captain there is because there's a theory, because you're a captain, you're a woman, right?
Yeah.
And we just want to stigmatize this thing that when a woman is in charge, everything unfolds, So it's not only just giving you the character, there's an ideology behind that. So I've been reading this book called The Quest to Maleness. So it's about how women are in charge of a lot of aspects. When you educate a woman, the nation is well taken care of. So that role as a captain is very important in 9 Years because you're like a mother to these guys, you hear their problems, you also solve their problems. And you're not biased, and how ironic that they murder a woman and you're so into finding that person because it plays a role, So everything is so juxtapositioned in a good way and in an intelligent way because I read a lot of books, mind you. So I take from old novels and I put it in one picture. That's why you say it looks good because there's a story behind that,
It looks good. You must hold on to that.
But it's hard though. I must say it's very hard, Ria, because mind you, no funding. Actors want something going. I'm talking about people that want to feed their families. I'm talking about money first, talk later. But one thing I think that makes the cast and everyone still stick with us is because, as you say, there's something there, there's something there.
It's good. Guys, it is good. Guys, I myself, I can't wait for it to be out. And I think, with it, the quality, the story behind, and your passion, and the team. I mean, when you go on set, you can see that this is gold because there's sweat and blood. It's not like Jar. It's not going there. You're like, my makeup, it's like, we are all working and we want the project to work.
So let me tell you something. Before we even start shooting, when you guys come on set every time, it's like there's something that happens in me, right? So when we start shooting, I've never read the script. And Maureen would be very angry at me. Like, how can you write it? This is yours, but you don't even know what's happening, It's because I don't need to know the script, I just need to know how this thing is going to unfold. So every time when I sleep, I already know how it's going to unfold, I already know how it's going to be shot. I already know what I need, how it's going to look. And I'm very angry and sad when it doesn't pan out like that because...
He sleeps on the ground. Things that he does.
It's just that I want this thing to come out the way I see it in my vision, because the vision never lies, So the vision will always tell me whether this is going to be good or not, So the rest, then it's easy because you get good actors like Tebogo, like you, Babtumsani. They just make everything good,
Work. I think it's a brilliant. I mean, a project. What are the challenges? Because definitely, I can tell you with me. I mean, with the podcast. I mean, you were asking me how long I've been doing it. It's been 2 years, to this day there is either a sound problem, a video problem. Hey, and I'm like, hey, we are uploading it, no sound. It goes. It's the work that you've done. Put that thing in there because we want to tell this. We want to show people that it has never been perfect. It has always been issues, and we are about keep it going. Cool. What has been the challenge?
The challenge is we're trying to get the letter of intent from a channel. So this is interesting. We submitted on GFC for funding, and we submitted 9 yards. We submitted 3 projects, animation 9 yards, and then we got rejected because of the letter of intent, because they kept on asking, do you have a letter of intent from the channel? Apparently the letter of intent will show that any channel can play this. So they can fund it because people actually want to see it. So the letter of intent, you get it from your distributions. People would say, okay, we are willing to play this. And then when you submit for any funding, you also submit the letter of intent. So before they fund you, they see, okay, there are 5 channels who want to play this. So we can fund it.
So it's worth the investment.
So we found that they loved the footage. They gave us the equipment, but they said, okay, go find the letter of intent. So I'm sitting here confidently because I know 9 yards has struck the chord on other people in seeing it, but they just want to play a safe risk in understanding whether this can be seen or can be watched, right? So we need to workshop the script from scratch, write it proper, sit down with these people, show them this is what we've done, read the script, give us the letter of intent and also the distribution channel. Then it's easy for me now to go back to the other funders and then say, this is the letter of intent. It shows that they want to play this, so give us the money. Because it's easy with 9 yards. We have an all-star cast, it's not a no-brainer.
I'm not sure if I'm the all-star, but I don't know. I don't know.
So I think that's the challenge right now this year, but obviously we're working towards that, and once we're done, then we can start shooting, knowing where this thing is going, It's not like before we take cameras and we'd be shooting I'm sorry to say this, like headless chickens, but we can't do this anymore. We need to be strategical. We need to plan.
I think it had to happen that way. Because like I said, we were only 60, and now we're like 20 or something.
Was I in the 60 or did I came later?
Yeah, it was.
I'm not sure. We were a lot.
You can see even on the group, people started.
So because things are moving now, we know we're moving with people that actually believe in it, that are willing to stay through thick and thin. When it gets rough, we still go forward. That's a team that is remaining.
I feel the team that we have, it's not. I think it's not actors. It's our project. Why I'm saying it's our project, these soccer tournaments are sekasi, where you'd find a star next door, you borrow him the corks and he's there. That's 9 yards, because I'm telling you the truth. The actors even tell me, no, don't sell the project. Pela, this is our work, this is our project, and that even tell me, no, do this. This is a good deal. And no director would ever listen to any actors. That's why I always say, this is no longer my project. This is our project, So even I can't even do any go ahead without notifying the actors, because you've invested so much on your soul, your time. It kind of feels like it's more your project more than mine, You know these projects where it's like a series for the actors. They're trying to make it and show other directors that they have something cooking, So
And for you, Tebogo, what has been the challenge as an actor to the 9 yard behind bars? And this is why I want to ask you this question specifically now is, you've got 2 roles that are booming. Your career is going in the right direction now. And here's 9 yards with its challenges, with the distribution concerns that needs to happen, with the IP that needs to, to be protected. What are your frustrating things? Or frustrative things
with regards to this?
With regards to 9
I have
yards.
nothing that is frustrating me. Like I always believe that whatever it is that you've went through my life in is always a preparation for something, and knowing Hore, I started without anything, with no direction, with no mentorship, with nothing like that, as a this is where 9 years is.
Yeah.
You know, I always knew I had the potential, because I would say to people, this is where I'm going to be, this is where I'm going to go. I said this like countless times, and there were people that would be like, yeah, we see that, and there were some that would be like, I'm fit, that's all span and fun. This thing's not going to work, you know. Yeah, exactly. So even with this, like I said, it's still a baby for now. But the potential of this baby being a grown adult, you know. Ooh. The captain, I see it, and this is why I'm here for it. I'm actually excited. I can't wait as well. I'm very, very excited to see where this thing can go, and to be a part of it. To come back tomorrow again and say, "Lebona," and that's it.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and that's why we have. Like, I love whoever remained with regards to all these problems that we had with it, that we still have Lekhonana, because it shows that we have a team of dedicated people that whenever a clock balance will always be there to be like, exactly.
Come.
Yeah, so there's nothing really frustrating me about the project. If anything, I'm very excited to be part of it.
To be honest, I'm not going to change, even if we get funding, I'm not going to change anyone on this. That's what I told myself. That's why I want the funding, you know, because I don't want people infiltrating and telling me who to include, you know. But because I'll miss that passion, you know. Once I replace Tumsani or Debza, I'll miss that passion that was there. Because without people, you're nothing, you know, because that's energy. The Tebogo is an energy source, you know, and when you accumulate that energy on set, you get a good picture, you know. So when you start getting people who are there for money, you get a rental picture, you know. There's a difference. There's
energy, but different.
So 9 years has energy, because it's not only. I remember when we shot 9 years. It was late. You were there.
Evening.
I was driving everyone home, right? And it was 4:00
I got home at like 2:30 a.m.
You know what I'm saying? You know, making sure that everyone is safe. You know, so that's what I'm saying here. So it's crazy, to a point where the driver of the taxi, they started thinking the taxi was stolen. They came with the gun, you know, a big gun. And they were like, "Are you safe, guys? We've went past the parameter." Because apparently a taxi, when it goes past a certain space, they start to worry. They start thinking, the tracker starts calling the guy, you know. Because I had to go from your place to Tebogo, drive around. You know.
That was a trip.
You know, so that's when I saw that you guys are very passionate. But
and we did it again. We're like, no, we're coming back.
But we started finding new ways to make sure everyone is going home. You know, I started requesting, and it became easy because when you start something, you face challenges and you have to solve these things, you know. But it's been a wonderful journey, you know.
Wow.
It's still gonna be a wonderful journey.
It is. I think for me, I mean, while we were chatting over the weeks and months, is I know in the film industry there's so many challenges when coming to distribution. You know, everybody's got a good content, you know, but distribution is a concern because how intellectual property gets stolen so easily, especially in South Africa because of the governing behind it, you know. What are your thoughts around that in terms of, you know, presenting your project to people?
So this is interesting. 3 days back, there's a news insert I use on 9 Yards where it's like a global thing that comes out. There was this guy who was on the group. He started opening a group and he used that news insert, the same one. Like,
you're lying.
I'm telling you. So yesterday I removed this guy. I dismissed him. You know, I was very angry. I was like, "You stealing
your own people."
You know, and these guys are saying 9 Yards is not good, but they're stealing. You know, so I started pushing him out. But this is interesting. What I've noticed when you start using these ordinary softwares, there's no rendering or copy protected stuff there. So I started saying, you know what, I'm going to do it differently now. I have to buy that software. I need to copy protect this, and I need to stop sharing, because now people, what they do, they're looking at 9 Yards and they're taking things from it and they're in the group itself, mind you. So that's the danger in this, and you can never know who's taking, because these people are there for a reason, remind you, and they're asking themselves, this guy's been doing it for 3 years. That means this thing is working for him. But remember, as I told you before, I can't steal Tebogo's energy. You know, it will reflect. You know,
you can't steal Zoltar's anointing in a particular project.
No, I can't.
You can't copy your anointing.
You
can't copy your anointing.
I can't steal this podcast idea. You'll actually feel that, man, this looks like my idea. You know, even if I can change the name, I will feel, man, with this is mine. You know, and when you tell people, they'll be like, we have so many podcasts. But this, remember, it's between you and God. God will tell you that this thing is stolen. This is yours, you know. So that's what I'm trying to say here is you cannot protect anything in this universe. No one owns anything. So one thing you can protect is your soul, you know. That's it, you know.
True.
Wow.
And how do we do that?
Meditation and praying.
Classes in session.
And praying.
Yeah.
Prayer is very good. It works
very,
all
very
the
important.
time.
Very important.
It works all the time. I pray for a girlfriend. I pray for anything that I do.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I pray in everything. Even coming here, I prayed.
He is the guy that always says, God bless, after the call. God bless.
God bless. God bless.
Yeah. And for you, Tebogo, how do you think in terms of intellectual property? I mean, you're now being exposed to different characters. You're now being exposed to different scripts as well. You know, how do you keep it a secret until we see it on TV, you know?
There are obviously there are platforms, you know, that you can exploit with regards to putting your things out there. I think for now, once something comes out, you can't really protect it like that. Especially with what he said, it's energy. I can come up with a clothing brand, Honano, and somebody will steal it, but then you don't know the vision that I had when I started it. You know, you will steal something and then you will think very small, Kayo. Now, as I was thinking, and I will still come back and be with the same thing, and you will think I have the same thing. Why is this not working out for me the way it's working out for him? You know, so just put God and your energy in everything that you do, whether they copy it or not. Like we just been saying now, they can't copy your anointing. There's a reason why Dream how in the first place. You know, they can't steal it. They cannot. They can copy,
but they can't steal it.
It's yours.
Remember when you came here with the gift from God, you know? So the trick is gravitating towards it. Because when you get old, you open your hands and you lose it. And the trick is to go back to it, you know. So it's your anointing. 9 Yards has always been mine, you know. I watch a lot of movies at home, so I shoot.
Like you know exactly where you want
I know where I wanted to go. So Tebogo is right. We can do a same brand, but mine can go further.
It can never be 9 Yards.
It can never. It can never. I'm telling you. That's why I'm not worried in submitting. When someone says, "Hey, show me," I send the video. You know, and they'll be like, "Aren't you worried?" I'm like, "No."
You will never get it to where I want to get it.
Never.
Wow.
We are prayed up.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful mindset. Just in closing, Jade, you know, I think you've said a lot of things that are powerful in terms of people can never be you, you know, the content will never be stolen in its fullness, you know, an idea can be, but it will never be taken in its full vision, if you can put it like that. What would you like to tell, you know, the person that would watch this segment about 9 Yards, a person that wants to sponsor 9 Yards, a person that wants to jump into the project? What would you like to tell them, and where can they find you?
Okay, what I'd like to say is 9 Yards, it's more about the passion of acting, more than just actors reading the script, you know. 9 Yards, it's the passion of Zoltar doing it when my mom said, no, this is not going to work, when my family said, you must find a job, you know. I think my brother told me that they sat in December, they were like, this guy, what is he doing? He's been doing this thing for so long. And my brother was like, man, this guy is successful. They were like, no, man, why can't we see him? And he was like, I'm telling you, you know. But despite the point, I never did it for anyone. I did it for myself. So the race, there's a race and there's a pace, you know. I pace myself.
Like that.
And the race is for horses, not for me. I'm not a horse. You know? What I want to say is 9 Yards, it's there. This year is our year, and I'll work very hard to making sure that happens, you know. And through the grace and the presence of the actors that I have, I know I'm in a good space, you know.
Cool. Where people can get you? If I'm a sponsor, I'm hearing this, I'm like, there's 9 yards, I want to jump in, you know.
Yeah.
Where can people get
Okay,
you?
they can get me. I'm Zoltar Miya under Time Film on Facebook. You can check out my work. Everything is out there.
Oh, wow.
They can get me there. Obviously, I'm not a person who has handled LinkedIn's. I'm not that person.
Yeah.
I'm just direct, straight up. Facebook, social media, obviously.
Yeah.
WhatsApp. I can't give my numbers too because of other reasons. But if they can go on Facebook, I hired a little girl lately who's in charge of my Facebook. He'll respond and let me know, you know.
Wow. Awesome. And for you, Tebogo, I mean, 9 years behind bars, your career, what can people expect from you going forward?
I throw myself around in every single thing, you know. Even with the acting thing, I always aspire to do more than what I can do, you know. I always wanna grow, you know. And with being in this space, and being a part of this, I even spoke to him. I was like, I'm not gonna be limited to an actor here, you know. I wanna learn. I wanna know every single thing that goes, that like how it all comes together. So what's next for me is literally that, and I've ventured into music as well, because that will obviously give strength to the DJing aspect of it. So I'm working with a producer called Terry P. We just put a song out which is coming out now next week, 31. It's a Jen. Beautiful song. Yeah.
Are you singing? Are you rapping?
No, it's a house tune. You know, it's an Afro tech.
After the
thing.
characters has been doing, I thought that you were singing.
Oh no! I can't sing to save my life. I can speak the whole day, but singing, no. I was kicked out of the choir even because look at Luther. There was like somebody's talking at the back. Please come sit here. It's like I'm trying to sing. I'm not talking, but okay, I went. So yeah, man.
You know, doesn't count as a choir because it was a church.
Exactly. You know, like somebody's talking preacher.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm hoping to get. Obviously, we attend auditions. You know how it is in Life. We attend auditions and we just pray to God that whatever is yours falls on your lap. Obviously, you need to match the energy of whatever it is that you want. I see a lot of people coming into the inbox on some, hey man, didn't like what actor. And I'm like, you need to align with that, you know, you need to align with it, because you will pray for something, you will get it, and you'll find that you're not ready for it. You know, you'll be like, hey, like about like DJ, practice how to and I'm like,
today.
Then I put you there, and then now with the debate, you got the opportunity, but you're not prepared for it. You know, you got the opportunity, you're not prepared for it. So whatever it is that you're praying for, make sure that you prepare for it, because it's definitely coming.
Yeah,
it's coming. Make sure.
Where can people find you?
Tebogo Sefora. Tebogo Sefora everywhere across. Tebogo Sefora, Tebogo _Sefora_M on Instagram, Tebogo Sefora on TikTok, Tebogo Sefora on Facebook.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And number is 0 gadla. Yo.
I know there's girls that were ready there for that one. Sorry.
But then my number is out there. You know, we've obviously. But if ever you start saying dodgy things there, because it's also for the bookings, as well, for work as well. You know, to be readily available when somebody can't find you on social media, they can easily call you and say, hey man, we're doing a gig, how much is your rate? And I'm like, hey man, 100,000. And they're like, okay, sure, we can give you that. So, you know. Yeah. So yeah, but I have no problem sharing my number, but I won't. Yeah, because of these avenues.
Happy Valentine's. Don't get a pressure.
But don't try this.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I really appreciate you coming through today. I really wish you all the best of luck in your careers, in your endeavors. I mean, I think from what we have been talking about, I mean, you are for God, and there's no way that God can give you a vision and a dream and never, cease to fulfill it. Yes. I was sharing this with my friend the other day, yesterday actually, because we were talking about accountability. And I said, if God can account, if God can account, then who are we as human not to account? Yeah. If he said that we must hold him to his word, that is, a statement of accountability, that I am God, but I want to account to you as human. And so I know for a fact that he's got an account with you to ensure that 9 yards behind bars makes it to the TV screen, makes it everywhere, to the cinemas, and makes it international. Yeah. I mean, it is gold after all.
It is.
We saw there's a new short film that has been nominated to the Grammys. Yeah. We are not nominated. We are getting the Grammy.
But to be honest, God has heaven has no favorites. So we also need to work towards that, you know. There's no use just praying and hoping things are going to happen. God always sees whether you're deserving or not.
Are you working?
And like you know, there was a point where, you know, when you're praying and you know, yeah, because like everybody's popping and then I'm just sitting here going, why? Like what's you know, like you get to that point, but that is also like in jail, like it's worth the wait, you know, like waiting when you have nothing, when you have nothing, it's a test of faith. So it's important to keep that faith regardless of how long it takes. As long as you're aligning with what you want, then God will come through.
Awesome.
God will come
Guys, it has been such a fantastic time spending time with Zoltar Miya and Tebogo Sefora, obviously talking everything 9 yards behind bars, the process of it, the challenges that come with it, the challenges as actors and directors, and making this beautiful dream and starting something that is yours. Never give up. As much as the algorithm might be fast, never be fast on your dream. So we have learned that today, that patience is key and quality. It has been real. You know where to get me. I'm joining them. I'm probably going to be meditating after this. But it has been awesome. Catch me on YouTube. You know, your girl, woman of controversial engagement. Everywhere we are here for you. We love you.